the Trensetta Lounge. Thank you so much for keeping it moving and grooving with us here on the inaugural episode of the Trensetta Lounge. It's your girl, Cami Simmons here. And hello, world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to introduce our next guest here on the Trensetta Lounge. I'm joined by our next guest who is in. Hi, Tash. How are you?
Hi, Cami. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for taking time, to stop by and sit down with us here in the lounge.
Of course. No, it's amazing. I've been watching most of it. It's amazing.
Well, I really do appreciate it. I do want to also give you a warm welcome for those who don't know who Tash is with Talk to Tash. She is a celebrity intuitive life coach. She's also has a God-given gift that allows her to basically see a person's past, present, and future, or the possibilities of their future by looking at a picture, maybe even hearing their voice by a text message, or maybe even taking a glance at them. Tash has shared her gifts here in the U.S. and also globally and around the world. From Dubai to Canada. Her influential clientele includes the likes of A-list celebrities and Fortune 500 executives and business moguls, including the iconic hip-hop group member Pepper from Salt and Pepper, and also Braxton's sister, Tawanda Braxton, music artists like Bryson Tiller, just to name a few. So thank you, Tash, for joining me.
Of course. No, this is amazing. And this is such a great way for me to end my night. This is amazing.
And I know you deal with a lot of clients, and I know we're going to have a lot of folks on here who may not be aware of who you are and what you do. So can you take us back to day one of, you just take us back to Tash, when you were a little girl, and just you getting into or growing into your gift, and letting us know a little bit more about what that was like.
Sure. So my family realized when I was just 6 years old that I had this intuitive ability. My mom was on the phone and I randomly said something to her about her friend. And it was like, what's going on? What's happening? Hold on. What's going on? Like, what's happening and all of these things. So I told my mom something about her friend, about her heart, something that was happening. My mom was like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Like, how do you know this? And so I just told my mom, I don't know. Like, I just see something, I feel something. So her friend confirmed with her that she actually had a heart condition and she had to have heart surgery. So my mom was like, well, how did you know? And I was like, I don't know. So she took me to a therapist to see if I was okay, because I told her that I knew things about people, and I was explaining to her and she didn't understand. So at the age of 7 years old, she took me to a therapist, and a therapist actually, I read her.
Wow.
Okay. And the therapist was like, your daughter's gifted. She has a real talent. But for years, I hid my gift and was something that only my family knew about. I didn't come out publicly with my gift until my mid-20s, which was very freeing. And I decided in that moment that I wanted to use my gift to help people in the world. And I've been doing that since.
Yeah. And since you bring up mid-20s, I know 20-somethings can be an interesting phase of life. What would you tell your 20-year-old self now that you have grown into your gift? And what would be your piece of advice to maybe those 20-somethings that are just trying to figure it out?
So, I was confused at the age of 20. I think most people are trying to figure it out in their mid-20s with the direction that they want to go into their lives. I would say don't be attached to how people feel. My issue at the time was I was afraid that I was going to be judged. I thought people would look at me differently because I was different. I had a gift where I can look at people and tell them things about their lives. So I hid who I really was. And so my advice to people who are in their mid-20s, be who you are. Be in your authentic self. Accept your truth. Accept your passion. Accept your purpose. And it just gives you a head start as opposed to waiting until your 20s to figure it out. Give yourself a head start and know who you are, know your purpose, and step into it.
I love that. Step into it and keep it moving.
That's it.
Yes. So I'm curious, when you're listening or when you're walking down the street and you're able to basically know about a person's life, what does that voice sound like? Because people always talk about the voice of God. What does that sound like in your head?
Yeah. So the interesting thing is I don't hear voices. It's just information that I know. So I literally can just look at someone, speak to them over the phone, look at a photo, and just can tell them things that's going on in their lives. So there's no voices that I hear. I just know things about people's lives. Now, the great news to that is within 24 hours of me speaking with someone, I will forget the entire session. I don't remember what I said to them. I don't know what the message was. I completely get the message. I give it, and then it's gone. So there's no words. It's just me looking at you and just talking. Literally.
Yeah, so I know we had a session, and I know some things have come to fruition, which I won't reveal a little bit too much, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed like talking to you, and I know I discovered you on the audio social media app Clubhouse.
Yes.
And you know, I was very grateful for even just being introduced to someone like you know, on Clubhouse. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful for public platforms like Clubhouse and Instagram because it allows me to reach more people, to really make an impact. That's a passion of mine. That is why I believe God gave me this gift, so that I can give people the message to gain clarity and direction and confirmation of purpose. And so I'm diligent in doing that. I have an amazing team. So I'm thankful for Clubhouse for allowing me to connect with people like you.
Yeah, and I remember during our session, you said that my platform or whatever type of show I was going to put together needed to be dope. Like that was one thing that stood out during our conversation. So I got to know, Tash, is it dope?
It's so dope. Like the music in the background, the videos, the updates. I mean, it's an incredible setting. I'm so proud of you. This is amazing. Yeah. This was the vision. This is what I was seeing for you, and it will grow, and it was going to do so much more.
Okay.
I'm excited for you. Super.
Well, thank you. And also for those who want to stay up to date with everything that Tash is doing, you can actually scan that QR code on your screen. And there you can actually find out more about all that she's doing and stay up to date with all she's doing. Her hashtag or her handle is also there too. You can follow her across all your socials. Now that's your handle across all socials, correct, Tash?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then really quick, is there any exclusives that you can give us? I know you have a lot of projects in the works, but are there anything new going on with either the Talk to Tosh brand or anything else that you can talk about briefly here?
Absolutely. So I do have a book that I recently co-authored on called Still I Thrive. And I have a chapter in the book called The Power of the Pivot. And the chapter is based around you being inspired. You know, you're going through hurdles and trials and tribulations in your life. And despite what you're going through, overcoming those hurdles and really pivoting through life and figuring it out. It's a very inspiring chapter that I've co-authored with PK Kersey, who's amazing, and 25 other authors. So it's a great project. So that's out for sale. That's on my website. And also I had a huge event in Washington, D.C. this past September, which was a huge success. I think I had about maybe 300 plus guests that came from all over, stage, DJ, host. It was incredible. So I am looking to have another event here in New York City. There's no date yet, so it is to be determined. But within the next few months, I'm looking to have a live meet and greet in New York City at Harlem Haberdashery. So that's going to be super incredible.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here in the lounge, Tash. I really do appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me, Cammie.
Yes. And for those who are tuning in, like I said, scan that QR code, or you can head on over to firstclasscrew.biz. That's .biz to stay up to date with all that Tash is doing. Now we're going to keep this moving forward. Coming up in just 3 minutes, stay tuned for the dose of inspo. Sometimes you have to just live out loud because it's only one you and you can only do you, boo. We have that coming up in just a few minutes. But first, it is Friday. Or not Friday, but it is. Look at me getting ahead of myself. It is Friday's Eve. It is Thursday, you all. The weekend is almost here. So we do have to play some new. So we're going to go ahead and play Doja Cat, Freaky Deaky with Tyga. But don't go anywhere. We have more Trensetta Lounge coming up soon. It's Cammie Simmons here with First Class.